I've been testing out the new Voopeak TC32 4G pan, tilt, and zoom trail camera, which also makes a great security camera. And it's a 4G trail camera with a solar panel for solar power. So it doesn't require any batteries, it doesn't require any power to run, and it runs off the 4G network, so it can work anywhere you have a 4G network signal. The limitations of Wi-Fi security cameras or Wi-Fi trail cameras that run off your home Wi-Fi network, unless you have an extender on your Wi-Fi system, they're usually limited to 100 or 200 feet or so. 4G trail cameras and security cameras can go anywhere. For example, I have the TC17 and TC18 for 2 and 3 years that are operating in remote locations, and they've worked flawlessly for me. The TC32 comes with a built-in SIM card, which is pre-installed. It's an EIoT Club SIM card, and I've used their cards for 3 or 4 years also, and they're real reliable. And they also give you the strongest signal from whatever network is available, instead of just having one network available. So you can't bring your own SIM card with this. The SIM card is built in, and it's an EIoT Club SIM card. Works quite well for me over the past 3 or 4 years. What I really like about this camera is it's light and compact, and I like the new camouflage design. It's a little more stealthy. Some of the pan, tilt, and zoom cameras are pretty large. It's designed to be mounted like this, and then you bring the 4G antennas up like this, and it has a mounting bracket that you can either screw to a wall or a tree or a fence post or a deck and slide it in like that, or you can run the included mounting strap through the back and mount it to a tree or something like that if you just want to put it up quick. So it's real easy to mount. It doesn't stick out a lot, and of course, this is the proper orientation, because if you orientate it another way, then water will collect down inside the camera. So you want, and you can see here's the area here where the USB-C cable goes in from the power from the solar panel, and here's the on-off switch. And then up here, the nice thing about this, it doesn't require that you pay or use a cloud storage. You can put in a micro SD card. This one came with a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, and you can put a micro SD card in there up to 128 gigabytes. And then you have your system reset switch here. And the thing again to remember is that the SIM card is already built in, and it comes with 300 megabytes of free data to test it out with. And then once you use up that 300 megabytes of data, then you have to replenish the SIM card through the various plans, either through the app or through the EIoT Club using the ID number from your SIM card. Camera has a speaker on the back and a microphone, and you can talk back and forth on it. It has pretty good sound quality, and of course excellent video and picture quality. And it has 6 lights on here, and it has white lights that you can turn on at night. So you can really brighten it up at night if you want to see full color, high quality video at night. Or you can run the IR lights in the normal night mode, which is IR. I found it to be really sensitive. I have a pretty fast trigger speed. And again, I've been using the similar but larger cameras, the TC18 and TC17, for 2 and 3 years now, and with no problems at all. No problem with either this reception, and no problem with the camera operating. And those have actually operated through several hurricanes. What's nice about these trail cameras is you can put them in a remote location, but you can also use them when regular power is out. For example, here in Florida, I have one in the backyard in Florida, the TC18. We went through several hurricanes where the power was out. And if the power is out, your regular Wi-Fi network's not going to work. Your Wi-Fi router and everything in the house is going to be dead. But if you have a solar-powered, battery backup 4G system, then you can look and see what's going on and check on the house, and really kind of a nice peace of mind to see what's going on, whether you have power or not, and see what kind of damage you might have or things like that. So there's a real nice place for the 4G cameras in your security and monitoring plans. You control the camera through the Yukon app on your mobile phone, and I'll go through that in more detail later. It comes with mounting hardware for the solar panel and the camera itself. It comes with a strap if you want to use it to mount the camera. And it comes with a good sized solar panel, the same solar panel that I had on the TC18 and TC17 base, and they've been running for several years, and they charge the internal battery in here, and I've never had a problem with the batteries not being charged, and I've had really good luck with the 4G card network working reliably. So in summary, I really like the new TC32 pan, tilt, and zoom 4G trail / security camera. I've had a lot of experience with these cameras in the past few years, and they've worked really well for me. Not only the quality of the camera and the quality of the pictures and videos and sound, but the reliability of the included EIoT SIM card for the 4G network. And it really works good for me up in the mountains where it's a little more remote as far as 4G service. And it's got really good quality video and photos, good trigger speed, good battery life. It stays strongly charged. There's a long cable which you can use to get the solar panel where it needs to be to get you your most solar energy during the day to charge this up. I really like the stronger white lights at night. Run it at night and in the full color mode and get some really good detail. It really fits a need for security and monitoring wildlife in areas that are out of reach of a traditional Wi-Fi camera. You know, a lot of the Wi-Fi trail cameras are just Wi-Fi in the sense that you can't broadcast on Wi-Fi, but you can use your phone to look at the data on the camera. But in order to have a true Wi-Fi security or trail camera, it has to be hooked up to your Wi-Fi network at home. And if the power ever goes out, your home Wi-Fi network's not going to work. And the nice thing about the pan, tilt, and zoom is you have almost 360 degrees of pan, and you have almost 90 degrees of tilt. So when you put one of these in a strategic location, and you can interact with it live, you know, see the live video feed, it really can cover a large area as opposed to having one single narrow traditional camera that won't cover a small area. So you can get a lot of bang for your buck out of one of these 4G pan, tilt, and zoom cameras. And I think a lot of people will find a use for them in their wildlife monitoring and security monitoring scenarios. It really gives me a peace of mind. If I'm in North Carolina, I can see what's going on in Florida. If I'm in Florida, I can see what's going on in North Carolina. And particularly in Florida, after the hurricanes have passed through, traditionally, the cell network will stay up, but the power will go off. Last storm went through, I think we didn't have power for 5 or 6 days, and I wasn't home, but I could check on everything and see how everything was doing with the 4G network and the solar power that didn't rely on the power grid. So let's go ahead and show you how easy it is to set this up. It comes with a real simple instruction manual. And what you're going to do is scan this QR code and download and install the Yukon app on your smartphone. And here's my Yukon app, which you can run all of the pan, tilt, and zoom cameras on here. I have the TC17 up in the mountains of North Carolina, and you can see it snowed there overnight. And then the TC18 out in the backyard, watching an area where I know there's a lot of wildlife that passes by. So we're going to go ahead and add a device, and before we do that, we're going to turn this on. And we've got the micro SD card in there. And when you first turn it on, it'll blink through a number of colors there for a while, and then within a short period of time, it should come on steady blue. And now we have a steady blue light, which means we're getting good network signal. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say add a device.
Scan the QR code on the camera to connect to your phone.
And then all you do is scan the QR code.
Insert the SIM card, install the camera, install the antenna, then power on the device. The blue LED will light up after about 1 minute. Click Next.
And I've got a steady blue light, so I'll just click Next, Next, and it's doing its setup to the network connection.
Enter the camera name and address. Using default name and address can go to the next step directly.
And for now, I'll just give it a temporary name like the TC32.
Camera installed successfully. Fully charge the camera at first use.
And there we go. And the TC32 is online. And I'll go ahead and click on it, and right there you have it. You can see there's Mr. Bear right there. And the camera is up and running. It just takes 2 or 3 minutes from the time you install the app till you turn on the camera and have it up and working. So that's how simple it is to hook up the camera and get it going. Now what I'll do is I'll mount it outside, and then I'll leave it there overnight, and then when I get some animal action on there, then I'll show you how it works out in the real world there. So stay tuned for that. Okay, I have the TC32 out mounted where I know there'll be a lot of animal activity tonight, and it's also a good security area for the far corner of our lot. It's a couple 100 feet from the house, too far for Wi-Fi, and plus I can also spin the camera around and see the house and the other areas if I want to check on things. And here's your status screen showing your 4G signal and your battery status. And I'm generally running in high definition mode. And this is a button where you can turn the white lights off and on at night. And over here is your pan, tilt, and zoom option where you can pan, tilt, and zoom in and out. I'll demonstrate that later tonight with a live animal. And then you can turn the speaker off and on. And you can take a picture or a video live. Now, of course, anytime you're doing this, like when I'm interacting on the app, like here, I'm using up data. And if you record data on high definition on here is when you're going to get your best quality. But it's also going to use up your data. But it's, if you got something really important going on, what's nice about this is if you get an alert, you check your app and you see something going on, you can go ahead and record it on your own, down to your own phone in high definition. You can store things to your phone, and you're also storing everything to the micro SD card on the camera. And a microphone. You can switch the storage between cloud and micro SD. So you interact with the TC32 through the Yukon app and set the menus and adjust the settings. And here's the app. It's pretty straightforward. It works well. Again, I've been using this for 3 years now, with going back to the TC17. And you give your device a name. I've named this one the TC32-2. In your storage management, I've turned off cloud storage, because cloud storage, you don't really need it, and it also uses data when you store to the cloud. So I'm going with SD card storage, and I've got 32 gigabyte card in there. And really the files, are, even the video files that's set at, say, a half a minute, generally run about the 2 to 3 megabyte range. So a 32 gigabyte, 64 gigabyte card will hold a lot of data. You can go up to 128 gigabyte card, which is what I would recommend if you're going to leave it unattended in a remote location for a long period of time. And you want to format your card when you first get it. I've already done that. And then you go to your vision mode, which I have it in normal. You can put it in night vision mode. Activity detection, it kind of depends. If you have it in an area where you want to have it in an area that avoids strong shadows and sunlight and trees and branches blowing in the wind, you get a lot of false triggers on any trail camera with that kind of situation if you have the sensitivity set on high. So in the case where I'm going to put this, I'm probably going to put it on medium sensitivity so I don't get too many false alarms. And of course, in the daytime is when you could really accumulate a lot of false alarms. At night, which I'm actually most interested in as far as animals, the false alarm rate is a lot lower. You can set up a schedule setting, for a certain time of the week or a certain time of the day to run. The device alarm, you can turn it off or on. I generally have it off, but it's up to you. Record time, I'm trying to catch animal behavior, so I usually set that pretty long. Now, of course, the longer the record time, the more data it's going to use, but I'm not too worried about that because I want to get some good data. And it goes up to 30 seconds. Now, you could choose full-time recording, and that's fine, but that's going to use up your data, and you have to expect that's going to, you're going to fly through your data on full-time recording. But at certain times, say, for example, you get an alert and something really interesting is going on for a period of time, you might want to go to full-time recording. What you want to avoid is recording a lot of unnecessary time when nothing is going on. And then if something really interesting or important really is going on, then you want to really record it in high definition, maybe full-time for a short period of time. So that gives you a lot of options to record. And really what you're after is recording what's important. And then the LED indicator, I just have that default to on. If ever you're having a problem connecting to the network or things are just acting odd, if it does, you can always try restarting the device, turning it off and on, and then restarting it. That might clear up any issues. And that's really it, real simple. And you go back to the main interface, and here's your pan, tilt, and zoom controls. Response time, considering it's using the 4G network, is pretty impressive. It's rarely more than a second that you get a response when you issue a command. And that's it, real simple to set up, real simple app to use, and you can control multiple cameras with this. I have, again, my TC18, TC17, and now the TC32.